Good evening. It is the first day of April, the year 2025, and it's a day that we have witnessed a lot of activities in the country. It is the day that will be remembered that after 7 months, President William Ruto finally faced the mountain that many perceive to be a slippery mountain. And of course, it's a day that also the opposition leaders led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, they are calling out and rather advising the government and of course all the stakeholders involved in the reconstitution of the IEBC that there will be no IEBC officials or rather nominees without their input. And this is the discussion that will be drawing our attention to tonight in our State of the Nation, even as we draw sharp focus between the latest development in the country in terms of politics and what is shaping the conversation in the last 1 week as far as matters politics and governance is concerned. It is a discussion that we'll be bringing to you later on, but our team has been on the ground to bring you up to speed with the latest in the world of politics, business, and of course sports. And this is what to expect. Tonight, facing the mountain, Ruto kicks off his 5-day charm offensive mission in slippery Mount Kenya region. Our way or the highway. Opposition leaders vow to oppose IEBC chair nominee if excluded. Also tonight, change of guard. Health CS Adan Duale takes over the instrument of power at Afya House. Plus, the raging fire. Gikomba traders count losses after fire wreak havoc, stalls reduced to ashes.
This is Kutv Primetime News with Auma Evans.
All right, suit up, ready for takeoff. My co-pilot tonight is Jennifer Obuya, and of course you can talk to us on all of our social media platforms. We are coming to you live on YouTube at KUTV News. You can tweet us on X at KUTV_Kenya at Auma Evans. The hashtag to use, State of the Nation. So tonight we begin with matters politics, where President William Ruto has told off critics, urging them to stop the political noise and empty rhetorics and develop a clear plan if they want to unseat him in the 2027 general election. Ruto took the war to the doorstep of his former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua in his day one of his 5-day development tour of Mount Kenya region. Take a look. 2 years since he won the election, 6 months since he fell out with his former deputy, and now he returns to the mountain that seems to be drifting away, but this time round with a clear message.
Nimesema katika taifa letu la Kenya, hatutaki ugomvi na hatutaki chuki na hatutaki ukabila. Sisi wote kutoka jamii zote, sisi ni ndugu moja. Tumeumbwa na Mungu mmoja, watu wa taifa moja, with a common destiny.
The anger, the division cannot be overstated. The show goes on.
Musikubali viongozi wa chuki na ukabila kutugawanya. Nyinyi watu wa Laikipia mulinipatia kura zenu, na mimi si wazimu nisahau kwamba mulinipatia kura zenu, na kura zenu mulinipatia nitahakikisha ya kwamba kazi yenu ya barabara, ya soko, ya affordable housing, ya stima, ya kusomesha watoto wenu itafanyika vile inavyopaswa.
Though his 5-day tour of Mount Kenya region is meant to focus on unveiling new projects, inspecting ongoing development and commissioning completed ones, politics was the order of the day. The head of state told off critics, urging them to stop the political noise and empty rhetorics.
Na mimi nataka niwaeleze, kuna wengine wanaendesha propaganda potovu ya kwamba kuna watu watabaguliwa Kenya hii. I want to assure you, there is no community, there is no county, there is no region that is going to be sidelined in the broad-based government. We are going to work together as one people with a common destiny, the people of Kenya.
Ruto's tour of slippery Mount Kenya region comes a day he accused his former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua of blackmail. In a tell-it-all moment in media interview on Monday evening, Ruto claimed that the ex-DP had threatened to make him a one-term president.
Oh, unajua, mimi naweza kukufanya one-term president. Usipofanya hii, usipofanya hii, usipofanya hii, nahitaji bilioni 10. Wewe unajua bilioni 10, Bwana Waweru?
Labda ilikuwa za nini rais?
Bilioni 10 ndio niende niongee na watu ya mlimani, nikupangie siasa, sijui nifanye nini.
But in a quick rejoinder, Gachagua through his ex-platform rubbish off claims, accusing the president of lying and misleading the public. The head of state is on a charm offensive mission where he is expected to commission, inspect and launch a development project in his 5-day tour of Mount Kenya, a region perceived to be hostile for President William Ruto since the impeachment of his former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua. Now, politics aside, matters election. Opposition leaders led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka have continued to pressure President William Ruto to involve them in the process of selecting the chairperson and the commissioners of the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission, or if you prefer the acronym IEBC. Speaking to journalists in Nairobi, the opposition leaders criticized the ongoing vetting process, insisting that there is an attempt to rig the 2027 general election through a compromise electoral commission selection process. Plusmile Hassan details the report.
A week after writing a letter to President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga requesting to be included and involved in the process of selecting IEBC chairperson and commissioners, Kalonzo Musyoka and his fellow opposition leaders are still voicing their demands to be involved in the process.
Mnakumbuka kwamba siku chache tu zilizopita niliandika barua nikamwandikia Mheshimiwa Raila na pia nikampa kopi Mheshimiwa William Ruto. Swala hili ni la sisi zote. Aliwezi kuwa swala la upande moja. Kwa sababu ukiwa ni upande moja basi Wakenya na dunia nzima itaelewa kwamba hii ni William Ruto Commission. Na hiyo hatuwezi kuruhusu.
The opposition leaders have criticized the ongoing process of selecting IEBC commissioners and the chairperson of the Independent Commission, claiming that qualified Kenyans were left out.
So far, the shortlisting process has left out Kenyans with credible qualifications and experience based on our assessment over the 1,400 who applied for positions. And it happened the same way with those who applied for chairperson.
The opposition parties claim that there is a conflict of interest among some of the IEBC candidates, raising concerns about Joy Mdivo, who was the chairperson of the Internal Dispute Resolution Committee in the UDA party, and Kato Kigen, who is President William Ruto's lawyer.
Structures of UDA and ODM and have in the last 3 years been beneficiaries of skilled public appointments by William Ruto and some by Mr. Odinga. We wish to point out the case of Joy Mdivo. She has been the chairperson of the UDA Internal Dispute Resolution Committee, it is clear that Ms. MS Midivo is not eligible for consideration for appointment as IEBC Commissioner as stipulated in Article 88. We challenge the IEBC selection panel to categorically explain how Ms. Midivo and Katwa Kigen were shortlisted and the role, if any, of the NIS in the selection process. We also urge the panel, I want to add there, and anybody else who has conflict of interest, because there may be others whom we don't know.
As Kenyans wait to see if the demands of Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and his fellow opposition leaders will be met by President William Ruto, the interviews for selecting IEBC commissioners are expected to resume on Thursday, 3rd April, up to April 25th, 2025. Blue Ismail Hassan, KUTV.
Now, switching gears, former Environment Cabinet Secretary Adan Duale has officially assumed office as Health CS, taking over the instrument of powers from his predecessor, Dr. Deborah Barasa, at Afya House. Duale emphasized cooperation in advancing affordable healthcare and universal health coverage. Meanwhile, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi stressed the need for structured transitions in government, pushing for legislations to ensure seamless power transfers. Speaking at the railway during the handover with the outgoing public service CS Justin Muturi, Mudavadi praised Muturi's efforts in streamlining public service operations. Muturi highlighted progress made, including workforce reforms and wage bill reduction efforts.
Not too long ago, jointly with Honorable Muturi, we were working on the transition of executive authority bill, and that legislation is now before Parliament. I think it's going through the public participation process. We wanted to be able to bring order to a process of transition and handing over. Because there has always been a lacuna. Somebody walks into the office, he doesn't know where to begin because there was no formality of process.
For that short stint of 7 months and 15 days that I served at the ministry, I received utmost cooperation from all the staff in the ministry. That we say that we wanted to ensure that the public service is efficient, effective, agile, fit for purpose for the 21st century.
Now, a massive fire broke out this early morning at Sokola Gikomba Market in Nairobi, destroying over 500 businesses and causing losses worth millions. Devastated traders suspect an electrical fault may have sparked the blaze. Though the exact cause remain unknown, Gikomba Market has suffered repeated fire outbreaks over the years, leaving traders fearful for their livelihood. Firefighters battled the flames as affected business owners called for urgent government intervention to improve safety measures. With a market history of frequent fires, many are demanding long-term solutions to prevent further losses and ensure the security of their businesses. And now to education matters. The Center for Teachers Professional Development and Excellence brought together over 2,000 students of Kenyatta University who are to embark on a 3-month teaching practice journey in preparation for a transformative experience in the classroom. KU's Vice Chancellor, Professor Waseke Wanjohi, gracing the occasion, highlighted KU's achievement that make it a standout in producing best teachers. Anyango Sylvia reports from KU's main campus.
This morning at Kenyatta University, over 2,000 student teachers gathered for teaching practicum orientation in preparation for their practice at the end of the semester. Kenyatta University currently being the only institution preparing its competency-based system CBS cohort of teacher graduates. KU's Vice Chancellor Professor Washeke Wanjohi expressed the role of the university in helping the students blend seamlessly in the job market.
Our students not only learn theory, but they also learn practicals. And we have been so consistent in placing our students in schools for their practicum. And we also get them supervised. And there is, of course, coordination at that level. And that in itself, that making sure that they get exposed and they get to practice what they have learned in class is one of the things that make them very, very Kenyatta University stand out.
She also shared reasons why the university is considered the best in training teachers, for reasons that include having high caliber of professors and faculty, having micro-teaching and technology incorporated in instructional methods, and having good ambience and facilities that favors learning.
We also take care of our students who are abled differently. And I think we are the only institution that actually has the largest number of students who are able differently. We have a fully fledged department of early childhood and special needs. And I think combined with those, and of course with a very supportive management, a very supportive council, and very, very able non-teaching staff, because we support our students as a community.
Concerning the alleged irregularities that are believed to be associated with the Teachers Service Commission, TSC, with regards to employment, Chairperson of the Teachers Service Commission, Dr. Jamlek Muturi John, who graced the occasion as the chief guest, assured that the Commission is fair to all applicants and all recruitments are done in accordance with the law.
We ensure that we follow the Constitution in terms of equity, in terms of equality, and in terms of fairness. Nobody is discriminated in this country when we come to recruitment. We have recruitment criteria, and mostly we emphasize on first out, first in, so that those who graduated earlier, they are the ones given the first priority. However, in issues whereby we have subject shortages, you might realize sometimes there are areas we want to boost the number of certain areas, disciplines, like sciences, like humanities, like pre-technicals. Such a situation you might realize somebody who has just graduated the other day is picked.
In attendance also was Professor James Kungu, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics, Dr. Caroline Mutwiri, Director TP Dex, and Professor Samson Ondigi, Executive Dean School of Education and Lifelong Learning, who encouraged students to be resilient and adaptable to navigate the challenges ahead. Kenyatta University, being the best university not just in training of teachers, will be releasing about 2,200 students to the Teaching Practicum 2, an endeavor that is set to equip them with practical skills in the job market. Anyango Sylvia, KUTV.
Right, that story by Anyango Sylvia takes us to our first break here on the State of the Nation. Remember, I still have plenty more lined up for you, but first thing first, let's take this very short breather. We'll be back with more.
Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Ni nguzo na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka akawa tuzo. Ukakamavu wake ukatili na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuweni. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake nami Caroline Kimweli.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepopa si vuguvugu. Pepopa ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni Duniani Leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Imagine a world where you are empowered to take charge of your health, where you are well informed about the latest advancements in healthcare and understand the policies that impact your well-being. Get ready to take charge of matters your health as we bring you a blend of weekly health features that engage professionals from across various medical fields.
When do you decide as a patient, do I need to go see the doctor? We are at a stage where we are seeing all this manner of chronic illnesses and we wait until we get a disease and then is when we go ahead.
From the most mundane to the complexities that perhaps seem overwhelming, we got you covered.
In terms of the factors that might be attributed, there are hereditary factors that means it could be genetic, so that's one factor. But there are other factors as well, like nutritional deficiencies. So some vitamins such as folate have been identified to be a factor in those. So
our mission is to break down intricate health topics into understandable and actionable insights. Join me, Yvonne Kimuma, every Wednesday 9 p.m. on KUTV's News at 9, where your health is our priority.
Fashion. It's more than just clothes. It's a statement, a feeling. An art form, a way to express yourself, a reflection of who you are. It's Fashion Diaries. Join me, Ashley Asachi, every Monday from 8 p.m. as we bring you Kenya's latest trends. Imagine fashion designers glamorous fashion events, runway shows, red carpet events, and so much more. Fashion Diaries, unleashing your inner fashionista.
you healthy, or rather, do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? According to WHO, health is regarded as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Welcome to Focus on Health, a show on all matters health, wellness, and lifestyle. On this show, we cover a wide variety of topics inclusive of, but not limited to, dental, optical, mental, reproductive health, and so much more. Join me, Joy Bofenda, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on KUTV for compelling insights and discussions on all matters health. See you then.
Focus on Health, your weekly dose of health and wealth information on KUTV.
Shaka mtazamaji popote ulipo, unapokuwa ukitazama Safina Show
inang'oa nanga sasa hivi. Ungana nami Albanaz Mwania, nahodha wa Safina Show, nikutoe ng'ambo ya pili hadi ufuoni. Safina Show, sauti ya matumaini. Tunakula usiku. Tuacha na break kwanza, tuende lunch. Chapo.
Rasha piga shada kuna giza. Sikinai tujinai siweke story. Pata maji pia shada liko na sio nikosa mtupo si stress. Kama rende kisha basi nipe. Najua ni
Mama, big up, brother, ukiwa adriva, big up, sis, big up, shows, mama, big up, oya, wase wote, okay, my principal, big up.
Money me okoka, whatever me say no, I know, I know, dancing me shika mashitani, kila choche kila mtaani, dancing na leta burudani.
This is na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka akawa tuzo, ukakamavu wake ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuweni. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake nami Caroline Kimweli.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Alright, welcome back, and now it's time for the State of the Nation, where we evaluate the latest development in the country. And of course, in particular, now we are shifting our attention to the President William Ruto's tour of Mount Kenya region. This comes at a backdrop of a very heated discussion with with media houses in regard to what really transpired between the two once allied, and of course good friends, and of course a marriage that really led to the formation of the Kenya Kwanza government. And this is in regard to the impeachment of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, where Ruto claimed that the former DP blackmailed him in a very heated discussion that really elicited mixed reaction. And former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, of course, in a quick rejoinder, refute such claims, insisting that, or rather telling President William Ruto to stop spreading lies and misleading Kenyans in regard to that. Well, today, President William Ruto faced the mountain in a very, at a time when a lot of political shifting in the mountain has been going on, and many had perceived that this will be viewed as, a shifting tide in an area that was once considered to be President William Ruto's stronghold. Did he make a very strong statement in his first day of 5 days tour of Mount Kenya region? All the mountain is slipping away. And of course, to help us unpack this discussion, and of course I want to usher in my guest just to bring us up to speed with the latest development in regard to this very important meeting between the tour of actually it's a development tour. And of course, let me chip in. This is Dennis Kimani, just to bring us up to speed with what to expect in the first day of President William Ruto's tour of Mount Kenya. Dennis Kimani is Youth Green Society CEO. Dennis, good evening.
Good evening, Auma.
All right, so Dennis, a lot has been happening, especially in the politics of Mount Kenya. And of course, President William Ruto today decided to face the mountain in what many actually perceive to be a region that is drifting away. And of course, in simple terms, many will say this is a really slippery mountain. First day of President William Ruto's tour of Mount Kenya region. Remember, it's a development tour. How would you, describe the reception that he received? This comes at the backdrop of a very, a moment of tell it all between actually just giving Kenyans some intrigues and insight of what might have transpired before the impeachment of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Dennis.
Thank you again, Auma. I appreciate to be here today. There is nothing to be happy about this tour. Actually, it's a tour of lies. What I want to say is that there is nothing development that is going to be seen. There is nothing that we are talking about. We are here for politics. There is no economic goodwill that the president has brought to the mountain. If the president respected the people of the mountain, he would have not done what he did to the former DP. Rigathi Gachagua brought more than 3.7 million votes to the basket of Kenya Kwanza. And mark you, President William Ruto knew Gachagua is somebody who is a good mobilizer. But the president has ensured that this is not a development tour but a political tour, because there are a lot of things that the president could be speaking about. There are projects that have stalled. There are no education. We have no water. Agriculture is failing. 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. The revenue distribution formula, it has failed. And mark you, the people from the mountain are the people who contribute to this economy the biggest. The same people in the mountain are the same people who contribute the biggest share of the votes. And politics is a game of interest. And if the president cannot respect the people of the mountain, if the president does not respect Gachagua, he must respect the people of the mountain. I think that is the message I have tonight. The president must respect the people of the mountain.
All right, Dennis, when you talk about respect, and of course, in light with what really transpired, and this is now begs the question of who is fooling whom. In yesterday's, interview with members of the Fourth Estate. I'm talking about now the journalists in a moment of tell it all between what might have really transpired between the two, former allies. That is former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and President William Ruto, who say that former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua blackmailed him. Well, in a quick rejoinder, Gachagua actually refuted such claims. So, in this, the politics of, blame game, one section talks about like who did what against who. The other one actually counter. It's like a politics of counter. You counter the claims from the claim of what has really been said earlier, just to try and maybe in a simple word to tarnish your name. So when you talk about the respect to Mount Kenya people, let's first of all talk about now the level of honesty. So who is fooling who?
There's nothing. There's no honesty that you can say with the president. The president rode even in the campaigns on lies, and that way it has been very difficult for the president even to run his own government. That's why it has been vivid that the president can reshuffle the cabinet as far as 5 times in 3 years. That's why we have seen even the president has demoted the deputy president. The president has demoted the closest allies that brought him the Mount Kenya votes. The likes of Ndindi Nyoro, the likes of people Moturi. These are people who brought a lot of votes to the president. These are the people who swayed votes and the voters to vote for the president. So I feel like we should not talk about Gachagua in this matter, because if the president knew that Gachagua was the problem, and Gachagua was coming between him and the progress and the development that he wanted to do to Mount Kenyans, it is high time to know that Gachagua is no longer in office. We have Kindiki, and as far as I know is that Kindiki has failed even also to help the people of Nyambene. As we all know, Meru and Embu, they are the producers of cat. That is Miraa. And since Miraa was banned in Britain, the biggest market of Miraa, it is Somalia. But this business has been it is full of cartels. What has the president done? Gachagua is not there. He has Kindiki. Why has he not helped his own people? So the president should not ride on lies. And I want to tell you, without fear of contradiction, this night, that whatever the president is doing in Mount Kenya, it is like selling pork in Mecca. It will not change anybody's mind. It will not going to make him get any extra vote in Mount Kenya. But as far as I know, as I know the ground, the political game has shifted, and we all want to drain the swamp. And William Ruto is part of the swamp. He's part of the fishes in this swamp, and will ensure that he goes home with or without the mountain.
All right, talking about now the shifting ties, how will you describe the reception that President William Ruto received today, being the first day of his, of his 5-day tour? And this comes at the backdrop at a time when he has spent like almost 7 months without visiting the region, at least after the impeachment of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. How would you describe the reception that he received today?
There is no reception. If you can see, those are all people who were in one time in business and now they are jobless. These are farmers who they don't have work to do because the farms have dried, there is no fertilizer. These are people who are just there to see the person who is finishing their lives. What I can tell you, there is no reception that the president got. People are tired of William Ruto. And if you have been looking at even the videos and the pictures that the government bloggers are sharing on social media, these are videos that are edited. These are videos that are coming from the campaign trail. It is not what is happening now on the ground. So there's nothing to laugh about. There's nothing to be happy that the president is talking, because I will started by saying in this interview.
Sorry to cut you short, Dennis. Sorry to cut you short, but
yesterday's interview.
What is happening in the ground, Dennis?
What is happening in the ground that people are tired of lies. People are tired of pockets that are dried. People are tired that their children cannot go to school. CBC is something that is so difficult now, even for parents to educate their children. You know, CBC, even a teacher will tell you, come with a chicken, come with whatever. Where are parents coming up with these monies? So people are fed up. Punitive taxes are overwhelming the people. So no one is happy about William Ruto. He can take even 10 days in the mountain, but I'm telling you, this mountain, the only person who made William Ruto to climb is Gachagua, and that is the problem that he's having.
Okay.
He might have removed Gachagua, but he has never removed the betrayal from the people of the mountain.
Okay, so for the purpose of clarity, Dennis, well, you say that it's former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua that made President William Ruto to climb the mountain. Now, let's talk about today. The president climbed the mountain. So, who made him to climb the mountain?
The president has not climbed the mountain. He's trying to climb. The president is trying to get sympathy. But we want to tell him we are hardcore. We are narcissists in this. We are not going to give you the slightest of the empathy. We are going to give you back what you have given us. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you one thing, Auma. Even if your enemy comes to your house, don't ever tell them not to come in. Let them come in and understand what they have for you. I appreciate and I love what the people of the mountain have done. They have given him the ears. They have let him come, because as we all know, the president is also organizing his own militia Mungiki, using minor Jenga, all those events that he's attending, even in Nyandarua today.
Dennis, that is a claim that we cannot substantiate at this particular moment, so we leave it as your personal opinion. However, let's talk about agenda. Let's talk about agenda, Dennis. The president, in his message, he said that leaders should engage in constructive politics. Allow me to quote him, that leaders should actually avoid rhetorics, rather focus on agendas that will, if they want to unseat him in 2027 general election, to focus on agenda that they will actually sell to Kenyans. Well, this politics of the blame game. This section did this to this. We are being isolated and this and this. Now, that was the agenda on the ground. So what is your take in regard to today's message, President William Ruto's message today?
There's nothing that I'm getting to be beneficial that William Ruto is saying. Because William Ruto on campaign trail said that the Nithi Bridge, this is the Tracaria's road section that has killed a lot of people. This is near Sagana there, where he was. This bridge, he said, he is going to complete it within 100 days. The bridge was going to cost 1 billion shilling. Has the bridge been repaired? So we are talking about rhetorics. Let's talk about industrial promises. The president promised that he's going to come up with value addition, milk processing, tea factories. Are they there? Our farmers are still struggling with their tea. Their dividends, their bargaining has gone down. The cartels are killing the industry. So whatever president is saying is that he's just telling us to remember that he has a lot of unfulfilled projects that he has not done for the mountain, yet these people gave him 3.7 million votes. But just to tell the people of the mountain, and if you want to know where central Kenya is, look at any note that you have. You'll get that the central bank is the one that carries the money. And so the central Kenya is the owners of Kenya and the owners of the money. Because that is the truth. Everybody will keep paying rent to the mountain as long as you don't respect them. Because these people are industrious, they are not hustlers. While Kenya people are hard-working people, not where close to a hustler. Because hustlers are people who do what William Ruto is doing. Hustlers are people who lie, who take people's money and divert projects so that they can benefit themselves. So in 100 days, today we are almost 3.5 years since this government was elected.
Actually, we are close to 3. We are close to 3 to 3 years. It is 2.5 years to be precise.
Yeah, so in those 2.5 years, the Nithi Bridge is still to be repaired. The industrial promises are still to be fulfilled, and the only thing that the president has done is to show that akona madharau nyingi kwa the mountain. I heard whatever he was being asked yesterday. He was asked about Ndindi Nyoro, and he had nothing to say about that. Ndindi Nyoro was somebody who brought a lot of votes to the Kenya Kwanza basket.
All right.
He was.
All right, Dennis. And of course, we have a very critical topic here that I want to get your input on it, about the reconstitution of IEBC. Of course, you have heard what the opposition leaders led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, they are now alleging that there might be, a scheme to actually re-engineer commissioners, the IEBC commissioners, who will favor or rather will help the current regime to actually rig the 2027 election. Let me first get your input on this. Do you think that allegations from the opposition really stand ground at this particular point?
First, I want to correct you that the opposition in Kenya is Gen Z, and so far the Gen Z are still in court. We are still in court fighting for the IEBC because we still feel that the commissioners are not right. But I want to tell you that we don't care which commissioners whom will be put there. We don't care even William Ruto will bring his own children to be in the IEBC. But what I want to tell you this night is that since J25, June 25th, this fight has been getting momentum every single day. And I want to remind William Ruto, he has no bone to pick only with the mountain. He has the bone to pick with all Kenyans. The other day I saw Sifuna, he was in Baringo. People of Baringo were telling him, please Abia Baba should not go to William Ruto because William Ruto is a spoiled potato. Even if we are going to do anything, we are not going to forgive William Ruto.
But Dennis, you are drifting from my point. You are drifting from the discussion. Yeah. Let's talk about the IEBC and all the character of President William Ruto. Should I pose the question again?
Okay. Yeah, you can come up again.
All right. So my point was, there is an allegation by, this is we know, opposition leaders, in as much as you say Gen Z are the opposition, well and good. Now, the opposition leaders, led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua, and Eugene Wamalwa, today in a presser say that there is a scheme to actually rig the 2027 general election. And they said, they were very clear, allow me to quote them, that there will be no IEBC commissioners and chairperson if they will be excluded in the process. Do you think there is such scheme in your own assessment, Dennis?
I want to remind you that there was a time that before the panel was put, the selection panel, there was a case in court where Kalonzo Musyoka wanted some lady to be put in the IEBC because all of them are thinking about stealing the election. That's why I was telling you that they have already gotten the butterflies, that they are not going to get any votes. Because I can tell you with no fear of contradiction that William Ruto will be defeated with 1 million votes plus. So it won't be easy for him to steal. And that's why he's trying to come up with these tricks now. But we are woke more than ever. What I can tell to IBC is that, and remember what the Constitution of Kenya says, Article 10 says that it's about transparency, good governance. And again, I want to remind IBC, you're part of the independent bodies, institutions in this country. You vowed and you take oath to protect the people, the preamble of the Constitution, with the people. You are not there to work for any political class. You are there to work for the people. You are there to deliver the best for the people of Kenya. So whatever I can tell the IBC, whoever will be put there, please do God's work. You take an oath for the people of Kenya. We are looking forward for a very transparent IBC.
All right.
We don't want to go back to the electoral injustices, because even William Ruto is just there because of electoral injustices. Because as you all know that commissioners were out of the bombers of Kenya, and that is an irregularity of the election. You cannot declare anyone president without all the commissioners.
Okay, so that is a matter of contention, Dennis. In all fairness, let's say this matter was before the court, and it was presided by Chief Justice Martha Koome. In their ruling, they say that elections were free and fair, in as much as you are entitled to your own opinion. Fair enough. But let me get this from you. Well, right now, we have the chance to correct the past mistakes. Historically, Kenya is known for, for every electioneering period, well, the aggrieved parties will actually dispute, the results. They will fault the referee, of which in this case are the IEBC officials, of actually playing favorism, favoring one candidate over the other. However, right now we have a chance to correct this. I remember during the time of Isaac Hassan, Wafula Chebukati, well, we had Samuel Kiviuti during that time. And of course, this is something that has, over time, it has been a repeated circle. Now we have time to change this. Do you think the Dr. Nelson Makanda-led team will actually deliver three things: simple, transparent, and credible? That is, I'm talking about the next officials who these gentlemen and of course ladies will actually give Kenyans. Do you think at the end of the day we will get IEBC chairperson who will uphold the rule of law and the standard of the election? Same case with the commissioners. Do you have faith in the selection panel?
What I can say is that I am a Kenyan and a believer of transparency and good governance. I'm also a believer of people's potentiality. I am a believer that every person has something that they can bring to this great nation of Kenya. So what I can tell the people of IEBC, the selection panel, do God's work. We are going to change this country by the truth, transparency, and credibility. Whoever is going to be the commissioner, be led by the truth. If mtu ameshindwa, ameshindwa, because there is no way that this government is going back to rule this country. That is point blank. Even the youngest generation, Alpha, knows that William Ruto is not, if not a half-term president, he's a one-term president. And therefore, IEBC, this is not the biggest matter of death and life, because IEBC will be there by April. We are in April. We have to have commissioners by this April. This is the deadline. So what we are telling them, whatever you cook, if you cook to steal elections, know that Gen Z are woke more than ever. Mukihesabu, tutahesabu. Mukiongeza, tunaongeza. Mukitoa, tunatoa. And I want to tell to make all the Kenyans be woke. We have agreed that during the day of elections, all youth, we will not sleep. We will wake up very early in the morning, go for those who are sick, go for the elderly, go for the people who are pregnant, give them chances, go for women. We will give them chances to vote before everybody. After that, in the afternoon, the youth will go and vote, and you will be voting as you head to Bomas of Kenya. to go and secure your vote, because we will not wait to see what happened in the last time. Everybody saw it at Bomas of Kenya. The deputy speaker, what's her name? This woman.
You mean the deputy?
Sholei. Sholei was in Bomas of Kenya with a laptop. What was she doing with a laptop in Bomas of Kenya? We saw even the late the CDF Ogola having a confrontation at the podium. Even others were hit because elections were fraud. There's even people who are saying that there was a file that was brought to Chebukati just a few minutes before he released, and that was the contention that made some of the commissioners to leave Bomas, because another file came from nowhere.
All right, Dennis, we are really running out of time. Let me say, this is a fair note, a fair point to leave it at that particular point. Asante sana, Dennis Kimani, for making time. This is the Youth Green Society CEO. Your time is appreciated. Asante sana, Dennis.
Asante sana, and I am so happy to always to be here to articulate youth matters. And I want to tell youth to stay strong. We are having the PPK. What I can tell you, Babu Owino and Dindi Nyoro, they have come up with a party. That is the party that is going to transform this country.
Sawa Dennis, asante sana for that. And I'm afraid we are running out of time, and we'll have to leave it at that particular point. And now let's switch, gears to some other stories.
Thank you very much.
Now, the 2023 800 meters world champion Mary Moraa is set to compete in her first race of the season opener at the inaugural Grand Slam Track League in Kingston, Jamaica from April 4th to 6th. Moraa will compete in both 800 meters and 1500 meters events, marking her debut in the long distance. Despite the challenge, she remained confident after intense training. Moraa will face top athletes, including world indoor silver medalist Nikki Hiltz and Olympic silver medalist Jessica Hull. Now, athletics to football matters. The Gunners will be hosting Fulham in the English Premier League at the Emirates Stadium in a London derby clash. At the same time, Wolves will take on the Hammers at Melneck Stadium as Nottingham Forest wrap up tonight's fixture with a clash against Manchester United at City Ground. All right. So that's a wrap. Many thanks for the men and women behind the scene, and for all those who made this production a success. And not forgetting you, our esteemed viewers, for always keeping us a company in the last 59 minutes or so. My good name is Auma Evans. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Jennifer Obuya. By the way, it is Fool's Day. Have a good night.